president of the Indiana County Chamber of Commerce. I know most of everyone in the room, but we are going to go around. Luke Shively, the chair of the Young Professionals Organization, was not able to be here, so I'm filling in for Luke today, even though I do come to most of the lunch and learns because I think they are a tremendous opportunity to learn from our leaders in Indiana County and help yourselves in your career paths. It really is beneficial to hear from people who've been there and done that and succeeded. And we are just so lucky to have Robin Gorman to be with us today, to be part of Indiana County, to be part of IUP. Robin is the assistant to the IUP president for community and government relations.
He's worked long enough that he remembers that.
Yes, I like to call Robin a friend, but that's I'll go with that title for today. But before we get to Robin, let's go ahead and go around the room and let everyone introduce themselves.
Brad Valuta from Topeka and Topeka.
Renee Snyder from the Council. Jen Clark from Uptown Fitness. Whitney Adams down in pharmacy. Rachel Williams from pharmacy.
Jesse Daniels, Daniel Law Group.
Troy Redinger from the First Commonwealth Bank.
Anthony Cancro with IUP, and I'm in University of Manson.
Talliers, S&T Bank.
Brett Bear, S&T Bank.
Zach Seva, Career and Professional Development Center here at IUP.
Ron Martin, Dunline's office.
Vanessa Mahalik, Dr. Brooks. Emily Barco, the Chamber of Commerce. Danny Rizzo, the Chamber of Commerce.
And Brianna Rossard, Chamber of Commerce.
Okay, go ahead and please continue eating. Thank you, Robin, for this delicious meal. Thanks to Mike and IUP and the KCAC for hosting this. I know everyone has a schedule, so we'll go ahead and turn this over to Robin.
Thank you, Jim. So please get up, make this informal. I had asked Renee and Jen when we were designing this, do I need to stand in front of a podium and be formal, or is this a conversation? I want it to be a conversation, even though I think I'm going to do the majority of the talking. So as I was thinking about talking with all of you, besides the fact that I was really excited for this opportunity, because I have not been able to teach a class or impart knowledge or give away to help others in quite a long time in a big group like this that really wants it. So I relish this opportunity, and I'm thankful. I don't want you to thank me. I'm thankful for this with you. But I kept thinking, how am I going to share my career and my life history in 20 minutes or less? And the answer to that question is, I'm not, right? I'm not going to do that. So being the teacher in me, I don't give handouts unless I explain them. So you will see in front of you, I'm not going to speak verbatim to them, but because I don't have a long time, the position paper, if you will, or my biography in a narrative short form, is the piece laying underneath your coffee cup. And I took that from my VK just so that you could have an understanding of what my progression in my career has been. And actually the write-up, because it has community and other things on that paper, was a write-up I think from 2013 with some updates that I submitted for Leader Circle when I was, I believe, an Athena candidate. So that's for your taking, because I will speak to that a little bit today. And then you're in your coffee cup, or what I'm really going to hit on with you, which is, I hope to have a conversation about what kinds of skills do you have, and what kinds of things do you, are God-given talents, and what things do you learn and change about yourself and your behavior that make you successful in life, not just in your career, but I'll explain that later as to how one intersects with the other. The other thing I want you to take away with you is the coffee cup. And so I kept thinking to myself, my God, a group of young people, you probably have 1,000 coffee cups, right? But you don't have this kind of coffee cup. And so the idea of this coffee cup is, if you're really a coffee connoisseur or an espresso, it's shaped the way it's shaped so that you can enjoy the aroma, stays with the aromas. And I thought that was pretty cool. So I'm like, well, if nothing else, it'll look nice on your shelf. It's a different kind of cup. So, with our logo, of course, because I am very proud to work and serve IUP. So Jim said, he told you what my position is, and we're going to get to how I got there. But I have a few questions first, and I want you to either chime out or just raise your hands. But how many of you right now are sitting here doing exactly what you wanted to do in life when you started out?
From birth.
Okay, all right, that's all right, you got
Yeah.
one. How many of you are in your dream job? Maybe you didn't start out that way, but you're there? All right, awesome. How many of you know what your next career move will be? Wow, a few more. Okay, this is good. And then, how many of you have taken or know the next step to get to that next career move? All right, okay, excellent. And that's important because that's really what we're talking about today. So now I'm going to switch to how I get to where I am. So I started out as a very young child, playing with my friends. We get together and we play dress up, right? Girls play dress up. We put on the high-heel shoes and the long dresses and prance around the yard. And all my friends would be pretending like they were runway models. And there I would be with my little pointer and my chalkboard. And I would be already the school teacher and it was coming out. And so as my career goes, I lost my mother very early in life. And at the time, I was living in Pennsylvania because that's where she was, and I was her only caretaker. I called my dad on the phone, and I said, Dad, I'd really like to go to college. First generation in my family, so this was a big deal. And Dad wasn't exactly sure how to respond to that, right? So he says, well, of course, you know, the proud dad, first child to go to college, of course. And, you know, where? Well, Pennsylvania. I'm from Annapolis, Maryland. So there was the, oh my God, you're not coming home to be, you know, be with mom and dad. So he put me through college, and that's becomes important with how people struggle paying their way through college today, given the position I'm in. My dad put me through college. It was the best, probably, experience that I had at the time in my life. The first course, literally, after losing my mother, was a humanities course on death and dying. And so I really grew from just learning a lot about how to use that as an experience that I could leverage in life and not, oh, woe is me, I lost my mother, what am I going to do? And so at the end of that 4-year career, I was very fortunate to get picked up by the very place where I did my methods or my practicum, which was a career in technology school. During your teaching practicum, it was sort of this like, ew, I got stuck at the career in technology school and not one of the main schools, right? And I had told this in my story where I've had the opportunity that I was very ashamed after having the experience that I had at a career technology school that I said that. And what I found was it offered me so many more experiences with ROTC and the workplace, business and industry, the skills areas, that I was very ashamed that I made that statement. And it says a lot about how we think about higher education in general. So, having done that at my career in technology school where I was, my first experience was not unlike this, although it was more of a theater style. I had 30 young human beings looking back at me, some that were testing me at every level, some that were, you know, had their heads down and all they wanted to do was sleep. My first teaching experience was in a low-income area, so I had literally students that were coming to me every day after that I learned that had not eaten yet. They may have been beaten before they got there, and they weren't the first part interested in learning, okay? So I'm young, I'm gonna start with all my methods, right, and do the teaching thing, and they were testing me at every level, and I very quickly, in a moment, thought, this is not how I'm going to spend my career. In an instant, those 4.5 years that I had gone and gotten a degree to do and become, I knew I was not going to be doing in an instant. So my progression was very quickly knowing that I spent about less than 2 years in the classroom exactly. I taught grammar and communications. You can only imagine grammar to young people. 6 through 12 was the secondary. And I started working in the post-secondary. The superintendent there gave me the opportunity to serve in the post-secondary side, which is career and technology schools have post-secondary courses in a lot of the skill areas that they, in some cases, can offer an associate's degree. My predecessor that I began working for in the career and tech school, and this becomes important, was leaving. He knew he was But more importantly, he knew a group, and some of you may recognize this, some of you may not, but it was a group of 5 very experienced individuals in various levels of industry training that traveled internationally, so they traveled a lot out of the country. And they were called Power Safety International, and they were housed in one of Joe Kovalchick's buildings down in Luzerne Mines, if you know where that is, and it was called Power Safety International. And they were really a customized training group at the height of their career that traveled internationally, pretty much aligned to the electrical industry. And so they were all saying, they came together, this group of 5, there were more of them within the company obviously, but these 5 were local, and they said, we don't want to travel, we're having families, we're getting tired of this, we want to form our own LLC. And timing, fortuitous in life as always, but I became sort of their Girl Friday, okay? I had travel agency experience already out of high school. Who can write a purchase order for where we're going, because they were going to continue traveling in-state and through the United States, but they didn't want to go out of the country anymore. So we were probably, in a nutshell, the best thing during the area that we served, because I'm in a career and technology school. I'm serving the post-secondary side of it now, which is all the time of technical preparation and school work era. And now I have 5 talented individuals that can do everything in electronics before they knew what electronics could do. I was doing TIG and MIG welding with these guys before anybody knew what TIG and MIG was. And then we had a welder that could literally train people to do underwater welding, which is huge and very specialized niche. We had one guy that did all this safety, truck driving, walk-arounds, performance, big pans and dozers that you see at these huge construction sites. So what I'm trying to say to you is the 10 years of customized job training and working with these 5 seasoned individuals, I got to go to places and see things and work with companies that you can only dream of. I mean, I was in one of the huge steel industries, thinking that I was going to see these great big plates of steel with, orange coming off, which I did see. But I was there, and I'm seeing these little tiny springs being made that will go in the Parker pens. I mean, it's just phenomenal what you know. And Jesse, I'm going to stop because you keep raising your hand, so I want to answer a question.
Yeah, you said you wanted a conversation, and I want to try to give that to you.
Yeah, and I'm going to get there. I want to give you a snapshot of my
I can hold
career.
it. Go ahead, keep going.
Okay, all right. So just to take you full force, every great thing has a time span, in my opinion. So we were probably going for 10 years straight. I'm learning a lot and dealing with everyone from the CEO to the human resources manager or purchasing agent. And I'm going, I don't know enough about what I'm doing. So in comes my master's. And again, I could not have asked to have a better timing. So I went to Penn State and I did their workforce, and it really did have an economic slash to it. And it had a consulting piece to it that not a lot of people know about. It's housed in their education, but it is a master's. And I had some of the most seasoned professors at Penn State at the time. So Bill Rothwell, he's a well-renowned international professor in org development. He wrote a book with Ken Gray, who wrote Other Ways to Win, which was about not just putting, not every student has to go to college, but they can work with their hands and be skilled. So Passmore, he was, I don't know if these names are resonating, but he was the professor at Penn State that was the huge stats person and have, written books been going around the world. So to make a long story short, my master's program, I began to consult in some of the companies where I worked with these 5 seasoned individuals because we went back out and I was using what I was learning to train, educate, and consult. And after I gained my master's, our 5 folks were getting eaten up by industry because they kept upping the ante for these people to work in their own companies. They took other positions, we broke up. I was a very successful grant writer in Pennsylvania because I learned the programs through post-secondary education. match the grants, customized job training and workforce and economic development of Pennsylvania, led YPA, matched them to the industries, went in, did the training, also gave them money to do it. Again, best thing since sliced bread, right? You can give me money, and I need to do something for my employees. Was excellent. And so I'm just giving you the snapshot because truly I've had a wonderful career. I have learned a lot. So this goes back to what I told you when I was little. I'm the teacher, right? But if you come assimilated with those kinds of experiences, I believe that my successes become my willingness to learn with others, no matter who I'm working with. I'm learning with you. I don't know everything, and I don't bring a skill and talent or an assimilated experience that you do. And so one of the first things that I put on some of your handouts is, when I look at people, I can look at them and appreciate what they bring, but always remember we're all human. And so these are just trite things in life you hear all the time, but make them work for you. Yes, we all put on our pants pretty much if we're putting on Slack that day the same way, right? But the reality is, when you're looking at another person, they could be a rock star, right? They could be you're only 7 people away from meeting the president. You've heard that before. Don't think you can't talk to the president of something or the rock star that's on the stage, because you can. And they're human. They bring a talent maybe you don't have, but you have a talent they don't have. Trust me, you do. You just have to find it, know what that is. That builds a confidence. You need to have confidence, right? We talked about, success in life. If you don't know how to make a decision and stand on it with confidence, you're probably not going to go very far, because you're going to be a follower, not a leader. So I put a lot of things, so these are in your cup, that are not going to be of any surprise to you. So let's say attitude is everything, right? And I don't explain some of these because they should just come verbatim. But your approach in life, these kinds of things are about how you approach something. So I was thinking about how I would explain this to you. And when I consult with particularly CEOs, people in administrative positions, that say to me, and it's usually through a friend of a friend that says, you were in our company doing something, I know you do this, because I don't have a lot of time to consult anymore, trust me. But a lot of times CEOs will want me to observe them and work on a specific behavior, so the executive coaching model. And I always start out by saying, why do you think that to be different, to change something for you to be different in your career is something that should be different, that would not help you in life? It's just a different role you're playing. Today you're the CEO, right? When you go home, you're a husband, you're a child, you're a father, perhaps, you're an uncle. You're playing different roles all the time, but these are the kinds of things. So if you go into work and your attitude sucks, right, and you're the president, it's likely that you're going to bring the rest of your team down by your own attitude, because that's the attitude they're going to take. If you're coaching your son's team of whatever it is, if you go in there and say, why can't you get that right? Don't you know that's not how you're supposed to do it? Well, that's not going to work, right? So it's in the approach. And if your attitude is, no, wait a minute, let me show you how you could do this better. I had this trouble when I was your age, or I've had this, and now it's, you're together, you're learning together. And so attitude is everything. I mean, I thought of Anthony, and I said, be careful, I might pick you out if I know you. But just think of Anthony in his position, approach somebody that he knows has a lot of money and says, look, you have a lot of money, I want some. Not likely how he's going to approach getting success out of the outcome he wants, right? He's going to go in and he's going to talk to another person about either what their interests are, their passion that drives them, what they're going to put some money into, or a relationship. They give to people, or they give to things they love and are passionate about. So, like yourself, these, I feel like I'm talking the basics here, but you literally, I know this about people. You'll listen to me today. None of you may ever look at this. Some of you will look at this. I suggest and encourage you look at this often, because you are going to go through this repeatedly in your life. And if you don't like yourself, okay, so I'm gonna do does my butt look big in this? Is my hair color wrong? Am I balding? Oh my God, am I balding? Men do it, women do it. We all have our inadequacies, we all have our quirks about ourselves that we don't like, right? Think about the things you like, what's good about you. It's really important, like yourself, because if you don't, no one else is either. And it goes back to attitude. If you're sitting there not liking yourself, and you're not confident, and you're always honing in on something that's not good about yourself, that's exactly what people are going to think about every time they see you. So stop doing that. So these are just little things. Take care of yourself. So you're starting out as young professionals. You have goals to go to other places. You know this already. I'm not telling any of you anything, the things that you don't know, but you don't go into your life every day. You get eaten up by your life, right? You're not thinking about how do I control and balance. So one of the things that I had to learn very quickly is if you're performing to a level that is expected of you, a high level every day, I better figure out how to take care of me physically and mentally. And I have said this literally to my boss because I think I've been in my position long enough now that when Dr. Driscoll came in 2012, there were some things that I learned that I had to say, you either need to help me figure this out or I'm not going to be the right person for you. And if I'm not the right person for you, it's not going to be good for me, right? So one of the things that I know about myself is I run out of steam and I need to rejuvenate. So I will go and kill myself and work until 12 at night and answer the emails and go back in the next day and 5 o'clock and get this done and work till 4. But there's a certain point where I know I'm going to leave work today at this time, whatever works for me. I'm going to go walk or run or exercise and get that revigoration. And I'm going to crash and sleep. And then I'm going to eat right. I'm going to do what mentally and physically I have to do to perform at the level that's expected of me. In the crazy chaos, and you all sort of talked about it as you were walking in about how busy things are, how crazy life is, and don't let anyone say to you they're any busier than you are. Maybe at different stuff, but they're no busier than you are, and don't let them use that as an excuse. And I have done this with people, and so people, oh yeah, Robin, well, I'll try and get that to you, but I'm so busy, I've got this, this, and this, and I'm like, and so do I. So we can use the attitude to turn people off and go negative, or we can say, yep, I hear you, I'm in this together with you, and whatever I can do to help. But we're all busy. We all have lives. We all have our own interests. So be happy. There's no doubt about you get that, right? You're going to, whatever you choose to do in your life, remember, you're pretty much going to be living it 24/7 in these days and times. So if you got to get up every morning and start thinking about, oh my God, I don't want to go there, what's ahead of me today, and it's already bringing you down, I suggest that you really get seriously about making a career move now. Because you just can't perform and you can't do what's expected of you every day. And then think that you're going to have a relationship with someone and get married and have children, do all these things that you want to do in your life and not be happy at it. I mean, really, just check yourself there. Now, here's something, and I'll cover these two, and then we'll go around, we'll just start taking questions. This is something I had to learn. So you're all trying to vie for other positions and do well in life, and you want to be noticed and recognized, and that's not always money, right? That's about having someone else in your workplace that's supporting you and mentoring you and developing you. And for a leader and for someone who is going to go far in life, you need to be able to step back, no matter what sweat you've put in the game and how you've killed yourself to get something to be done right and well. You need to sit back and let somebody else take the praise. And you need to intentionally set it up that way, that I'm going to let this person have their moment because they deserve it. And even though I may have worked just as hard or harder, it's all about them right now. not me. You have no idea. I had to learn this, and the more I've learned it, it's like, it's not about me anymore at all, ever. Have it. And I've had to learn that through my primary responsibility being president. I had to learn that. I had no choice, because everything's about the president, right? It's not about me. It's about the set and the success for my boss. And so I've had to be very careful about when I'm in a place like this even. I can speak for me, but when I'm speaking for the university and the president, I need to make darn sure I'm setting that tone and that upright, that I'm here on behalf of the president, and this is what he would say. This is what he would do. And that's very important, because, and that's a hard role to play. But now I do it with colleagues at every level of the university. I can't wait to watch someone else shine, because it gets me farther in my own career. Trust me, it will. And it gives me more pleasure than any credit that I could ever be given. So it's really important, because good leaders will be respected in the long run that do that. And it means more to people than any financial gain could mean. Trust me, it does. And then always have a plan and pick out professionals, much like you're doing in these kinds of environments. You know, the plan is simply, if you don't know where you're going, you're not going to get there. If it's an open target and you're just throwing and shooting and hoping, likely is you're not going to get there. Or at least you're not going to get there easier than how hard it's going to take you. And then do what you're doing now. Listen to people that, you know, have faced struggles and been okay with failure. You know, it's okay to fail. That's how you learn. And then get back up. You're human, remember. Okay, yes, I'm probably mortified. It was embarrassing, whatever. But use it, leverage it. Yes, I went through a death, but you know what? I got through it, and I'm a better person for it. And you know what? If she could see me now, she'd be proud of me. She wouldn't want me to be, you know, oh, you know, after I lost her, I just couldn't do anything with my life. So have a plan, and then talk to people about, you know, I want to be like your position, not the person, like who you are. Don't try to be like someone else. But the position may be of interest, so begin to talk about, here's the skills I have, and here's the skills I don't have. Here's the personality or the attitude traits character traits that I have, and here's what it takes to excel in the position that you're vying for. And talk to people that are successful in that position and have them help you get there. Okay, Jesse, question.
I'll start it off. In your comments, you talked about how your experience in terms of classroom learning, degrees, and also how your experience in the actual job field has helped make you who you are today, a very accomplished individual. Although both of those experiences for the classroom and on the job are important, is there one that you would say is more important so as to allow you to have been successful, and why is that? And I'll give you time to think. The reason I ask that is because, and Aaron and Brad can probably back me up here, in law school, they teach you how to research, but they don't teach you how to be a lawyer. And when you actually go out into the practice of law, it's quite shocking when you're made to do all these things that you didn't really have any experience to do. How to manage a client's expectations, how to deal with a judge who didn't get his or her Wheaties that morning and are upset. You know, how to deal with unruly lawyers on the other side.
Yeah.
So I have found that despite the fact that I greatly enjoyed my time in law school and I learned a lot, there was so much I didn't learn, and some of those lessons have been so important to being a successful lawyer. So I'm trying to figure out if that's unique to my profession or if you have something similar to it.
I would say that it is not, and I have heard this so many times through my career. So what you're really talking about is something I had to come to grips with really fast, and that's why I talk about life skills and who you are and what you know versus anything that you can go and get out of a book, a classroom, or imparted by other people's experience and knowledge. So what you're really talking about is, remember I said to you there was a certain point in my career where I'm out doing it, right? I'm successful, I'm good at this. It wasn't that I wasn't good and successful, it was that, okay, whoa, Now I'm talking to a CEO, and there were instances in my life that I absolutely knew. I'm young and I sort of know what I'm doing, but this guy's so much more experienced than me, and he's got knowledge that I don't, and I'm looking at them going, he's thinking, what's this young twerp gonna tell me that I don't know? And that's when I said, I need a little bit more book and skill and theory knowledge to put to the action and the hands on the ground, which is really learned. You all know that. You can read a book, not that we are Snapchat or something on your iPad now, right? But you can read a publication and think, all right, that helped me build my skill or ability in a way that I maybe am not practicing right now. But when I call it boots on the ground, when I'm dealing with the situation, you're gonna go back to what assimilated you as a person. You're gonna go back to comfort. You're gonna go back to, well, this is how I've always handled those types of things in the past. And that's why if you're finding that, let's just take, for example, your judge, okay? He didn't eat his Wheaties, he's angry, and he's not giving you what outcome you want. Or at least maybe in a way that is professional. So you've got to begin to think to yourself, my skills and abilities perhaps in this moment in time, and if I'm going to deal with more in the future like this, aren't getting me the result I want, then I need to go figure out how I get the result I want. And that's where we all have to know, and I have told CEOs this. So what happens is, and I hate to say this, but I'm going to pick on academia. Academia is the worst. They tend to think, now think about this, it makes sense, but I've learned it, I can tell you firsthand. When you have professors or administrators that used to impart knowledge day in and day out, think about a school teacher. They're teaching pretty much their same discipline over and over and over again. Maybe differently, but they're imparting that knowledge. They become the expert, right? 30 years of teaching something, I say they are pretty much an expert. They've written publications, they've done research. Now, what do you think happens? They become the expert in other things, right? Even though they're not. They're an expert in this, so they can tell you about this and this and this. And all of a sudden, they're telling you how to run your life, right? When, in all reality, what their knowledge base is some slice of something that you want or need to know. And the reason I'm telling you that is because when they get into administration, they don't think they need to learn with you anymore. They need to tell you. Well, guess what? Times change. And today, the approach of telling something, like giving a directive, is not going to get you real far. It's this learning organization. It's this developing or having interest in developing people so that your knowledge 20, 40, 60 years ago